Hey VIPs, I wanted to share with you a bonus video just for you guys, and this is kind of another step forward in the technique that I showed in our Friday quickies this week. It is going to use the Eastern Palace suite of products, the premier bundle that you just have to have. And so let me show you what I'm going to do. First of all, it's embossing just like the last video was. And I'm looking for my embossing buddy. So I'm going to do my embossing buddy on some watercolor paper. Then I will stamp my stamp and ink it up and stamp it, pardon me, with Versamark. And then we're going to heat set it. I'm using white embossing powder, but you could use clear if you wanted. It doesn't really matter. Now, one thing that's nice about this is I just used this with some black ink, and I'll show you the card that I made with the black ink. So you can see it stained a little bit on there. So what that means is I can actually stamp the second one of these without embossing, because what I did before, and I'll show you, I had another sample, but let's just say that did not go well. And I'm going to get right down in here so that I can see, and you know what, I can't see it well enough, so I am going to go ahead and emboss. Sorry you got to see my back of my head. But I think the key to this is if you can't see your design, you really have to emboss first, because then you can see it better. Okay. This will all make sense in a second, because what I'm going to do is offset it. Did I say that already? Because that's what I'm doing. Oh my goodness. So again, when you emboss on watercolor paper, you just got to let it heat set a little longer to get it to melt, because that watercolor paper is thicker, so it takes a little longer to heat set. Okay. Then you're going to stamp this a second time, and you just want to make sure you're getting right in the middle of everything. Sorry, I'm struggling here ever so slightly. I think I've got it. It might be off just a teeny bit, but there it is. Now, do you see the color? It's because the stain of the black ink is coming out with my Versamark, which is partly why I'm using white embossing powder versus clear, because that will kind of cover this up. If that happens to you, all that you really need to do at this point is clean it. And the Versamark has sort of worked some of that staining. I used black archival, so it's working some of that staining of my photopolymer out, and it will actually be cleaner now. So actually, if you need to clean it, what you can do, let me heat this while I'm talking. What you can do if you do need to get it clean is to just simply ink it up in some Versamark and then let it sit. Now this is going to color, you're going to see this color just a touch on here, but it's not bad. And it actually kind of coordinates with the color scheme I'm going. You can see it's not bad at all. Just a teeny bit of a shadow almost. But that's okay, because we're going to color over this, so it doesn't matter. So I offset my two stamp images, which is very fun. Then what I'm going to do is take my aqua painter and color over it. And I chose 3 colors, just kind of to give you, I could have used, you know, one of the color schemes in my other cards, but I kind of wanted to give you a different color scheme. So I did Wisteria, Rich Raspberry, and Elegant Eggplant. And let's see if we can do this the way I kind of have in my brain. I'll show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the first design on here that I did in Wisteria Wonder, which is the lightest of my 3 colors. and I'm just making sure that I'm doing the right sections. So if you need to like hold your stamp right here so you can see which are your original 6 sections, you can. There will be no judging with that. Okay, I think I almost have it. And then what I'm going to do, okay, so there's my first set. You can see it's not exactly perfect, but it's not bad. And then what I'm going to do is bring in my next color and do the in-between 6. Okay, and when I do this, obviously I'm overlapping slightly on some of these colors. Oops, I went a little crazy there. Well, no, that's okay. Now this part, see how it's bleeding right there? We can fix that, so don't worry. So this kind of gives it a stained glass look. I think it's kind of like a church stained glass. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, look at that. Gorgeous. And then what I'm going to do is every other one of the inside ones, I'm going to color with the dark elegant eggplant. So every other one is going to be the really dark color. Now I'm keeping, as much as I can, the elegant eggplant completely off of my lines. And the reason, I'll show you again, the one I'll show you all the mistakes I did on the first one, and then this one is turning out better. So it's more of what I kind of had in mind for this card. Okay, and then one more right here. So isn't that gorgeous? Now I have to tell you, so here's what happened with my first one. I'll show it to you and then I'll point out all the mistakes. So here it is. First of all, I only did 4 petals instead of 6 of the original. So then when I went to overlap them, it wasn't quite right. So, and it looks fine. It's no problem. But you can, do you see where it's really dark? The eggplant kind of, I couldn't get it off. The color off of the embossing, and I wanted it to dry, and then my thought is maybe I can pick it up now, and yes I can. Look at it, it's coming off, so that's good news. But anyway, back to this. So then you can see this big smear right here, this big smear right here, and that big smear right here. That was all a mistake. And then I thought, ooh, well that's okay, we'll spritz it and it'll get better. Yeah, so I spritzed it, and then I thought, ooh, I'll put a little gold Wink of Stella in there, and then I got gold Wink of Stella all over, so then I was really mad. But look at this one. This one turned out way better. So I'm excited about this. I'm going to take this little bit off, and I'm just wiping this on my little, you guys know when I watercolor, I use my little diaper, my burp rag from when my kids were babies, you know, cloth diaper, those, right? You guys know what I mean. Okay. So that looks pretty awesome. So we'll let that dry, of course. And let me close these up before there's an incident, an inkcident. Sorry, I couldn't even help it. It's terrible, I know. I apologize. Okay, so let's finish this off because I can stamp a coordinating sentiment, and I think I'm going to use eggplant ink because it's just really good and dark. And then what did I do with my stamp? Oh, here it is. So this says, to think of you is to smile. Oh, so nice. So I'm really going to just really push on there for a good amount of time. You can see I'm wiggling it, but I'm not rocking it. I'm just wiggling. There's a difference. Oh, it's stamped amazing. So beautiful. Okay. I could heat it if I wanted. Now let's fix a little something else on here. So right here we got some rich raspberry ink right there, and I did not want rich raspberry ink. So let me open up my wisteria and we'll kind of clean this up a little bit, and then you can see it sort of disappeared. So we're in good shape there. Now there's also a teensy bit of rich raspberry here. We'll try to kind of erase that. And this is the beauty of watercolor paper, is you can do that kind of thing. You can't really do that on other colors or other types of paper, just watercolor paper. So look, I kind of did pretty good at fixing that. It's at least a little bit less noticeable. Now again, once this dries, I'm going to spritz it a little bit. Let's see if my marker is up here. No, Pink Pirouette is probably not dark enough. Well, you can try. So I just want to make sure that my lighter areas are dry so that this doesn't spread. There, that looks pretty good. We're going to stop there for fear of doing too much. Oh, perfect. Okay, that's one of those know when to stop situations. Okay, now I also cut a piece of cardstock to mount this on, which I think is going to be kind of perfect. And then we will forgo the gold Wink of Stella altogether because that just wasn't quite right. But what if we did do a little clear? Because that might be good. Clear might be just what this thing needs. So I'm going to do clear on the raspberry sections, the in between the eggplant ones, just the center ones, I guess. Oh, so pretty, 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 pretty. So that gives it a little shimmer. Can you see that? Oh yeah, that's nice. And maybe we'll do a little spritzing shimmer on here too. I mean, why not? Yeah, so now there's a little more shimmer all over the card. Okay, and to finish this up, I'm going to mount it onto some rich raspberry cardstock. But what if we did a little stamping in the background? Don't you guys think? I'm going to stamp this stamp because this sort of looks like, you know, the in between of my geometric image. I kind of like it. So I just did a little in the corners because I didn't want to get too carried away. I think that's good. And then I will pop this layer up and we will claim victory. And then I'll show you, I did one other one. The other one is not Emboss Resist, but it's the same concept as this one. And it's super cute. So let me put this here. All right. So isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. Okay, now here's the other one. This is a little more springy. So this is the same idea. I went over the whole thing with Pink Pirouette. And this is actually on vanilla cardstock. It's not watercolor paper. You could do both, but I thought the black would stamp better on the vanilla, so that's why I chose that. And I used my aqua painter and ink pads, but you don't get the same watercolor effect. Then every other one I did with Peekaboo Peach, and the other is Watermelon Wonder. So isn't that gorgeous? And then the sentiment is from Big on Birthdays. So I think these are two gorgeous cards. They are exclusive for you guys. You will not find these anywhere else because they are just for my VIPs. Thank you so much for being VIPs. I love stamping for you, and I hope you enjoyed these projects. Don't forget, you can still order that Eastern Palace Premier Bundle with the roll of natural gold trim. If you buy those two items using our current host code, you will get for free a tutorial that includes 25 different projects using the Eastern Palace stamp set. Plus, you'll also get my Eastern Palace online class for free, and it is a $25 value. So yay! You can't get those tutorials though unless you order it from the bundle from me. So there you go. Now, if you are in my downline, you can get those project tutorials also. All you got to do is send me a picture of your bundle, your products that you ordered, so I can see them, and then I will send you those tutorials. So enjoy, happy stamping, love you guys, bye.